Hi, so today I'm just looking at bending techniques, string bending techniques. One in particular, and I think it's probably the most important thing with string bending that you could learn. Once you've got the basics anyway and you know how it works and what note you're trying to bend to and all that kind of thing. And all it is, it's a muting technique, and a lot of electric guitar playing is dependent on good muting techniques. So string muting, so muting strings that you don't want to hear. So it's all very well concentrating on the notes that you're playing on the string that you're playing a note on, but you really need to be aware that, especially when you've got a heavier sound, that the other strings are going to ring. If you've got a good guitar, especially, that everything resonates. When you play a note on one string, all the other strings will vibrate a bit and the whole thing resonates. And a lot of the time you don't want to hear any of those other strings, so you have to touch them to mute them. It can be done with the left hand or the right hand or both. So specifically when you're bending strings, what you need to do is, usually you'd be using your third finger for a string bend. So for the moment I'm just going to do that as the example, but this works with other fingers as well, or mostly. So if I play a note like, let's take the 10th fret on the third string, I'll play that note. If I bend that, I maybe want to sound like a 12 by going. Now when I did that just then, without even thinking about it, and I only know I did these things I'm about to describe because I saw myself do it and I felt myself do it, but I just do it as a habit. But if you don't already do this, you need to think about it, and it becomes a habit that you then don't need to think about. But what I did, two things. I did the bend with my third finger and my second finger helping to push the string up. It probably looks like I'm using three fingers when I do this. Right, I'm not, I'm only using those two. This is your strongest finger, your second. Third finger is the one that's in place doing the bend, so your second helps push the string up. And the first finger is just a tiny bit higher up on the neck than the other two fingers, just slightly. And it means it's resting lightly on the fourth string. And when I bend it up, the string, it stays touching the fourth string, but it will probably touch the fifth string as well because we're bending the string up. So what that means is that the fourth string and the fifth string aren't going to ring, especially if I accidentally catch underneath like this as my fingers letting the bend down. That's when it usually happens. I can't do it on purpose, but like that. You accidentally catch the other string, or it makes a noise just because it was being pushed up. The fourth string was being pushed up with the third, and then as you let the third down, it comes away from the fourth string and it just makes the fourth string ring. And this first finger is stopping that from happening. Now there's another thing I'm doing. Well, after I pick the third string, my thumb immediately, this part here, the side of my thumb, immediately lands on the thicker strings to stop any of them ringing out. And sometimes I even then touch the pick underneath the fourth string if I'm bending the third as well. So my thumb is resting on the fifth and sixth, pick is resting underneath the fourth, and I'm doing that thing there. And it all sounds like really complicated, or seems complicated, and it's like a lot of effort just to play a string bend. But as I said, you end up doing this without thinking about it at all. And then it's just easy. Every time you do a bend, that's how you play it. Works on other strings, same technique. And from a distance, it looks like I'm using three fingers to bend a string. Probably even a close distance, it looks like I'm doing that, but I'm not. This one isn't pushing on the strings at all, it's just lightly resting, slightly higher up than the others. And even with big bends, it still works even more important then. So that's how you get flawless bends. There are other small sort of technical aspects of string bending that you can study, but I think this is the most important one. And if you're someone that does string bending and occasionally catches that other string and you get a big twanging sound, and that, then definitely look at this, because it really works. And it's something I go through a lot in my private lessons with people, and it always works. So definitely have a go at it. Any questions though, please put them in the comments, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks.